Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Today I have exciting news. I have my 7th ever max rank 4-star. And I get the feeling it might not be the champion y'all think I might have picked, because to be fair, it wasn't one I listed. It's Nick Fury. Nick Fury, this max rank, max sig 4-star. Absolute monster. And he wasn't really fully on my radar because I do have a rank 4 5-star Nick Fury unawakened. And I'm not going to lie, a big part of this has to do with the fact that I run 4-star only content. But looking at this Nick Fury, if you watched like my 4-star only clear of the Halls of Heroes, then you know that I've been having some trouble lately really get my 4-star roster to push it. Like, I have ridden the backs of Omega Red and Ghost so hard that their legs are buckling. Like, I'm heavy and they are crumbling under the weight of me riding, using them like the backpack that I am. But I love it. These two champs are above God tier for a reason, and for so long they have cleared me through so much content. I mean, looking at my other 4-star rank ups, you know, like I did Void. I used Void to clear the Boss Rush Communities Challenge to get past that Domino with the 1% regen. Omega Red and Ghost, that's self-explanatory. Hulk Ragnarok I brought up for a variant 2 completion. Sentinel helped me with variant 3 exploration, and Quake has been an absolute beast of a God Slayer in all kinds of content. So this 7th max rank 4-star for me, especially when you consider how progressed my 5-star roster is at this point, I really put a lot of thought into this. But with the fact that I had to use revives at the end of the last Halls of Heroes quest, week 2, quest 3, partially because I didn't want to restart. Like, I could have restarted, done it again, and gone for a better run, and that would have been the optimal option. But the real issue there is that I was struggling in the first place, right? In shorter content and content that I feel like I can revive in, where reviving isn't as punishable, it's not as big of a deal. But with the progressing difficulty of the uncollected events and my very, very, very limited max rank 4-star roster, I felt like something needed to be done. And so with that said, I started to evaluate my options. I was thinking, Namor, Ghost Rider, Aegon, Corvus Glaive. These are all absolutely amazing, suicide-friendly champions who can do a lot of work. And I was looking at it and I was thinking about it and I was like, man, but none of those champions make me feel like I'm addressing the problem that I have. Ghost Rider might provide the sustainability with the heal, and he might be able to push me in those longer fights. But the problem I had on the 4-star Halls of Heroes was that it took me 2 hours to clear 3 quests. 2 hours. At Ghost Rider, not the fastest clear times. So even if he provides me that survivability, I need someone to kind of help my roster push a little bit faster, and Ghost Rider just isn't going to hit that mark. So I thought about Namor, and I was like, yeah, but again, the problem with Namor I have is, even max ranked, I'm running into a taxi problem. Like, the problem I've been having is surviving in the longer fights. Shorter fights, Omega Red cruises through. Ghost ends it on a special 2. It's these paths where a single SP2 from Ghost isn't enough, or Omega Red is taking 30 to 50 hits to take him down. That's when I'm taking so much block damage that I'm punished, that I'm having to bait multiple special 2s in a fight, and I just can't manage. And those are fights where I'm like, Namor's not going to cut it either. Namor feels more like a boss killer to me, and not a taxi, so he doesn't help in that situation either. Now, naturally, that would bring me to Aegon or Corvus Glaive. Aegon's a good option, but again, I'm just not ready to commit to that kind of a ramp up, and Corvus Glaive wouldn't really help me. From what I hear, he's like great, and even a max rank 4-star can easily handle like 12k, 13k opponents, but these Hall of Heroes quests are 15k, 16k opponents, and I just kind of worry that Corvus Glaive isn't going to put out that damage, so I'm holding off on that rank up, at least for now. I still want to do it. He's on my radar. I don't have him as a 5-star, but I really wanted to evaluate this rank up because if I like click on here to upgrade, you can see like I have 5 tier 4 basics, and this is really all I have. I'm just kind of running low. So at the time when I ranked up Nick Fury, it was literally like the only max rank 4-star I could bring up. So I really had to evaluate, and I was like, what can I get the most bang for my buck on this rank up? And it really becomes Nick Fury. So My goal with running Nick Fury max ranked as a 4-star is to run Nick Fury, Quake, Deadpool, X-Force, because you get the max out of the Nick Fury synergies there with the 3 free evades with Quake, so that'll help if I make any kind of mistake, because when you're doing 4-star only content, it feels like if you make a mistake, you die, because a lot of times that's what happens. And the Deadpool X-Force synergy means that it lightens up the load of my suicide masteries, which has really been negatively impacting me and has been holding me back from a lot of champions, just because I haven't been able to mitigate that, particularly in longer fights. So now this opens up options like Hulk Rag becomes a much better option. Void, if I can stall out long enough, I don't have to worry as much about. But it does come with like the negative drawback on Omega Red, where if Nick Fury is alive, if I bring in Omega Red, I lose that bleed debuff immediately. I get the heal, but honestly, I'd rather just take the bleed debuff because I'm still getting a passive heal from willpower from that and like huge damage burst. But the way I'm planning on handling it is when I run Nick Fury on the team, it'll go Nick Fury, Deadpool, X-Force, Quake, maybe Omega Red, probably Omega Red +1, because Omega Red still benefits from the Deadpool X-Force synergy, giving him that 30% increased spore rate. And what I'll do is I'll use everybody first before Omega Red. I'll use Nick Fury fourth, and I'll finish out with Omega Red. And in paths or quests where Omega Red isn't good against the boss, then I will swap Omega Red out for someone else. And that's really going to open up my roster. And I know a lot of people are like, well, just turn off suicides. That's not happening. I don't, please don't ever recommend turning off suicides to me, unless it's absolutely mandatory. Like I think in variant 4, the 1-star quest, I think turning off suicides is like pseudo mandatory, because if you don't turn it off, it's going to cost you a lot of potions. And even though potions are cheap there, it's still a lot of potions. So unless it's a case like that, please don't ever recommend it. I am of the mindset of I always want to try to clear content with my mastery setup because I love my mastery setup, and I'm lazy. I hate spending time in the mastery section. So at least until they make it easier, I don't see it as a viable option, at least, because if I spend 5 minutes in the mastery section, I'd rather spend that 5 minutes making this video. So that said, those are my reasons for ranking up Nick Fury. Oh, one more. Also because my max rank, my 5-star Nick Fury, rank 4, is not awakened. So having this max rank awakened, max sigged Nick Fury at rank as a 4-star is really going to let me use him to the best of Nick Fury and really get to see that potential, because maybe one day I'll have a generic awakening gem and Nick Fury's on that radar. So I'd like to play around with the 4-star before I even think about committing an awakening gem, let alone signature stones to provide any potential value there. I need to see. So that said, I am still looking to raise up my 4-star roster a little bit. I'd like to bring up like 1, maybe 2 more champions. The ones on my radar haven't changed. I'm still looking at like Namor, Aegon, Corvus Glaive, Captain America Infinity War. Part of me wants to do Ronin, but I just pulled the 5-star Ronin, so I'm probably going to do him over the 4-star version. I'm thinking about Deadpool X-Force just to get the most out of that synergy. Magic, Medusa. Hyperion's not on my list. Sorry, guys. But I'm thinking about Medusa because I think that she could be really fun to have. Provides me with like that guaranteed armor break. But let me know if you see anyone here. They don't necessarily need to be suicide friendly, but I would prefer it generally speaking. But if I'm missing someone, if you're like, hey, this champ, even as a 4-star, is absolutely nuts, let me know. I would like to hear it, because I really want to like evaluate champions that maybe I don't know about or don't value high enough. Like I'm thinking about Old Man Logan. Maybe I can awaken him in some way, shape, or form, because I think that maybe I could get a really good regeneration kind of spree out of him. So if there's anyone I have, or anyone in general as a 4-star that you can think of that you want to like put on my radar, think I should maybe spend a little more time reading their skills or focusing on, I would love that advice, because there's just a lot of champions in this game, and if you're not playing them the right way, you're not using them in the right kind of setups or fights or paths, you might not really realize how insane a champion could be. And you know what? I really like to stretch that knowledge if I can. So that said, I apologize for talking so long. I always do. That said, I'll talk to you all later.